Hello guys, Flying Dutchie here and welcome back to part number 3 in our beginner tutorial in EU4. So last episode we explained these 6 steps actually from the country view. And in this episode we are going to talk about the mission tab, the decision and policy step, stability and expansion, religion, military, subjects. And I think the estates will go to the next episode. I think I'm gonna unpause the game when I discuss these steps over here and actually start playing the game. That makes a bit more sense, I think. Before we explain too much. I think I already explained way too much. But let's see how people will react on it. So let's go to the missions tab, and this is a very important tab that you want to take care of. These are the things you can do as a nation, and you can see over here our shield is over here and over here and here as well and here as well. And when you scroll down you see that everything is our shield, and that means that these missions are nation missions. This is the Castile mission tree, and when we maybe form another nation later, where we will come later, you can form Spain for example in the decisions tab. Then you get also other missions, and this is a good way to start your campaign. So for example, as Castile, we have a mission to discover the Caribbean. Now you can just hover over the shield and then you can see what you need to do. It has been long theorized that rather than travel east, we could go west to India. We must put this theory to the test and search out the ideal landing spot. So some weirdos in our country say that India is over here as well, that you could go this way and that you will get into India. I mean, they are crazy, right? There's nothing over here. If you go further than here, you fall off the map. Everyone knows that. And we are gonna prove them wrong. And that is this mission. You should discover Bani. Apparently there's a province called Bani in the New World. And it's your job to discover it, and then you can complete the mission and then you get bonuses. And this is a really good way to form your campaign. And every nation has its own mission tree, except for the smaller nations that have no mission tree for their own. But you always have these general missions. I think every nation has these missions over here. But it's most important to go with the Castilian missions right now. So this is for exploration, that is for later, so we cannot complete this for a while. But on the right side we also have a mission, and that is called the Prepare the Reconquista. Now, for too long have we failed in our duty to care to the peoples of Iberia. We should prepare to unite them under one banner. You cannot complete this mission, because we need a manpower level of 60%. We need a navy size of 100% of the force limit, and also the army needs to be 100% of our force limit. Now, what is force limit and what is the manpower level? Well, we went over the manpower level in the first episode. So apparently we need 60% manpower, and then we can complete this mission. And we also need to have our army built to the maximum that we can get before we get penalties. But we will go over that when we go to the military tab. So this is something we should focus on at the start, because this gives us claims on the Upper Andalusia area. Now, what is that area and where is it? I wish I could click on it actually, but I cannot click on it. Then you have to go back to your states or areas map mode actually. The areas map mode. The claims will be on Upper Andalusia, and that is over here. This is Upper Andalusia. So when we have our manpower up and we have our armies and fleets up, we get free claims on this territory, and with the claims we can go to war. So that's what we should focus on at the start of the game. I also don't know why my outliner is gone. Oh, there it is again. But that's something we will focus on, and when you complete this one you will get even more missions, but we will go over these when we complete the first ones. Now then we have the decision and policies tab over here. You can see you can get policies in the game. Now, at the moment we cannot select any policies, because policies will be unlocked when you complete an idea group. So go back to your ideas tab here. If we have admin technology 5, we can pick one of these ideas, and when we complete everything, we can take maybe a policy. But you need 2 idea groups be completed to get 1 policy. So before Tech 8 or 9, we will not be able to take a policy, so we are not going to be bothered by the policy system right now. And then the bonuses will be listed over here from your policies. You can take 1 free policy, so you should always take 1. And then we go to the national decisions one. And over here you can see that we can form the Spanish nation diplomatically. Form the Spanish nation militarily. Now what does that mean? Then hover over the question mark. And then you need to read it like this. We need admin technology 10. We need to be at peace, we need to be independent, we need a legitimacy of 100. Remember this number? This is our legitimacy. And what do we need as well? All provinces in the Iberia region is not in the Muslim group, so we need to be Catholic. And Castile is the overlord in a vassalage or union between Castile and Aragon. So the game is telling us that we can form Spain diplomatically, and then we will inherit Aragon. So apparently we need to have a personal union over Aragon. Now, the personal union over Aragon is a flavor event for Castile. When you play as Castile or as Aragon, as the player, there is a chance that you can get an event that will give you a free personal union over Aragonese land. So we will actually rule over all of this and this as well, and also over these islands over here. And we are going to try to get this one. So, and if you don't get the event, you can also form it militarily. You also need admin technology 10, and then we need to own the provinces that are highlighted. And you can see it on the map. There are 3 provinces highlighting right now, and actually also the south. You see that we need the 4 provinces of Granada and the 3 provinces in Aragon. And when we own and core these provinces, which I will do when the time is there, and show you how you do it, then we can form Spain militarily. And then we become Spain. So we can do it without war or with war. And we're going to try to do it without war at the beginning. And then there are some more decisions you can take, and therefore you need a certain condition: admin technology 8, have a theologian as an advisor, or admin technology 10. And then these one will become available, and then you can decide if you want them or not. If you don't want a certain decision, you click on this bulb here to put it out of your alarms, of your flags here. So that is the national decisions tab. So our first goal should become conquering Granada and try to get a personal union over Aragon, which is a bit random, but we will try to do it peacefully first because that's easier. That's going to be the first goals of our campaign. Let's go to the next step, stability and expansion. Over here you see a war exhaustion. You get war exhaustion when you are at war, and the more war exhaustion you get, the more penalties you get. When you are at peace, it goes down with 0.1 each month, and the maximum is 20. You also have disasters in this game. Certain criteria need to be met, like autonomy things, or have a claim weaker than 80 legitimacy. Then you can get the Castilian Civil War, which is a disaster for Castile itself. The English also start with a disaster, for example, the War of the Roses. And so you can see that every nation in the game is having their own flavor. And that way, the game stays very interesting for every nation you play. And that is a good thing about this game. You never get bored. There's a stability, so you can go to +3 and -3. And you can see what the bonuses you get when you have each +1 stability point. So for 1 stability we get less unrest, we get more taxation. Our missionaries are better, our institution spread is better, and we get less corruption. Now we want to boost the stability to 1. We need 100 admin points. Now currently we have 56. And we might click this button to 1, because I think the 1 is the best spot to be in. Because from -3 to 1, you pay 100 admin points to go to the next level. And if you go to level 2, you suddenly have to pay 150 admin points, and then it gets a bit too expensive. You can also get stability by random events, which will happen over time. Then there is governing capacity. This is just how much land we can govern in your realm before you get any penalties. And this will go up over time, also by certain idea groups and by your estates. But we will go over the estates later. In the next episode maybe, or in the 5th episode. The overextension is currently at 0. This is when you conquer provinces, then this number will go up and it will give you penalties. If you want to manage your overextension, you see what you need to do over in this window, and there you can see it. You have to core provinces with admin points, and that way you can get rid of your overextension. This is colonial range and global settler increase. This is not needed right now because we are not colonizing. This is our national unrest. So for 100 legitimacy we get -2 national unrest, and that is pretty handy to have. And here are the states and territories. We have only states, we have no territories. We will go over what is a territory later, but you just want to make sure that all your non-colonial holdings are states. Because you get more out of the provinces. And you can see that we pay for states, but they also give more money when they are states. So it's good to have as many states as possible. But we'll go over this when we are going to start colonizing and stuff. Let's go to the religious tab. Now you can see here that your main religion, we are Catholics. And every province that is Catholic will get a +1 tolerance, which is actually a unrest modifier. So when we have everything Catholic, people will be very satisfied. When they are not Catholic, then they will rise up earlier. Now here you can see that our tolerance of our own faith, is this first number, is 5. I think that's a -5 unrest actually, but I'm not sure. For every heretic, which is the other religions that are Christian, like Coptic, Orthodox and Hussite, later on Protestant and Reformed religions that can spawn later in the game, will have a -2 tolerance, and also the heathens, like everything else in the world, also -2. And over here we can see our cardinals. We are going to go over the papal interface, I think, maybe next episode, because it's becoming a bit important in the beginning. Our papal influence that we will go over later as well. Reform desire, not really needed now. And if you have something that is not Catholic, you can convert it to Catholic with your missionary or missionaries. But you need to have a chance to be able to do this. And we'll go over this when the time is there. We are almost there, 2 tabs to go. Let's go to the military tab. Here you can see your infantry units, your cavalry units, and later on in the game you unlock artillery when you have military technology 7. So at the start of the game you have only infantry and cavalry. Cavalry is stronger at the start of the game, but they are also more expensive. Don't be bothered by these pips. We will go over these at the advanced part of this tutorial, I think. You can also click on it and you can select new units. Don't be bothered with one you take, because they are almost the same strength. I'll just pick the Latin medieval infantry. And I'm gonna take the chevauché. It doesn't really matter. And over here you can see your naval units. So there are 4 types of naval units in the game. There is the heavy ship. You have the early carrack, which has a lot of cannons, so it's very strong, but also very expensive. Then you have your light ships. You now have the barks. Those are a lot cheaper. As you can see, the maintenance is 0.04. And for the heavy ship, it's 0.44 per month. That is a lot of money. And it has 10 cannons, and we have 5 of these right now. The only bonus that light ships have is they can protect trade. At the start of the game, you want to make sure that you protect trade in your home node. We will go over this before we unpause the game. And that's also the reason why I did not mothball my fleet. Because just do some light ship protection of trade and you will pay back almost what you need to pay for your fleet. So, but we'll go over that very soon. Then there are galleys. Galleys are good in inland seas, and not in oceans. And if you want to know what an inland sea is or an ocean, well, it makes sense, of course, that the whole Mediterranean Sea is inland. And you can see this when you hover over a sea tile. For example, the Gulf of Almeria here. This is an inland sea. Galleys will be more effective here, performing at a higher level in combat. Also, this one is an inland sea. This is an inland sea. The Straits of Gibraltar are not an inland sea. So galleys are very good in these sea tiles. Over here, heavy ships will be better. There's a good thing about galleys as well. They are very cheap. They cost only 0.03 upkeep. And then you have your transports. Now we currently have 10 transports. That means that we can use that we can put 10 units on the boat and just ship them somewhere else. That is what this is meaning. And for example, our army here, just drag a box, by the way, with your left mouse button if you want to select something or click on it. We have 13 regiments here, which is 13,000 troops. And if you will right-click on your coastal province, then you can see that they're going to move there. And when you just want to ship your troops, you need your transports in the fleet at the province. And then you click this button here. Or press A. And then you can put 10 of your 13 troops on the boat. And when you click your boat and you ship them off, they will be on the boat. And when you want to take them out, we will go over that later. Then you can click on the army here. It's a side tab of this whole thing. And then you can unload them. For the beginning, we don't need to do this. Let's go back to the military here. These are some modifiers. Don't need to be looking at this at all at the beginning. Combat width is nice to know. We can have 20 units in one army of infantry and cavalry before we are not using them in the front row. So you just want an army of 20 infantry or cavalry units at the start of the game in one army. Then they will fight the best. Siege ability is not really needed. You have army tradition that makes your armies fight better. You will get this by fighting battles and other modifiers. Our morale is now very low because I'm not paying for the troops. But when I pay for the troops, our morale will be very good because we have all those modifiers that you can see over here. We have 15% and another plus 10%. Navy tradition is good for how your army will fight and how much trade power you get. And the most important numbers are these two here. This is our land force limit. And if you remember what in the missions tab was here, we need to go to have 100% of our navy and army force limit to complete this mission. And we get another morale boost. So we want to get to these 100% numbers, and we will do that very soon. So if you go over your land force limit here, we need 32 regiments to get to our 100%. So we need to build 8 more troops. And we need to build 3 more ships. And then we need to wait for our manpower to get to 60% of our maximum, which is around 16,000, I think. And then we can get the mission, and then we can go to war. So that's going to be the first thing we are going to do. We cannot click up the subjects tab because we don't have any subjects right now. But we will do this as well very soon. Now the estate screen, I'm not going over it right now. You do have a tip here, a yellow one. You always want to have 30% more crown land. Now I'm just going to seize the land for now. So that pop-up will go away. But we will go over this later and what these numbers mean, I think, in the next episode. Now, and then we have everything explained in this step here. We have 2 more alerts that we can go over. Apparently we have a truce with Granada, the nation that we want to conquer, over here. And that truce will be over in February 1448. Now that means that if I go to war with them earlier, we get a stability hit. And you don't really want that. So we will go to war with Granada not earlier than this date. That's fine, because we have to build up our army, we need to get our manpower back, so it's fine. And then there is a disputed succession tab here. These are all the countries that don't have an heir and can end up in a personal union under another country, which they have a royal marriage with. So if I would get a marriage with Denmark, for example, the ruler is 28 years old. Go to Denmark, that's over here, and otherwise press F and type Denmark. And then click on the nation. Then you'll focus on this capital. If I was able to get a marriage with Denmark, then there is a chance that we can get a personal union over Denmark. But most of the time the AI will get a new heir and then the chance is gone and then you have a marriage for nothing. So we're not going to focus on getting any PUs in this run. So we're going to right click this away. So we have a truce with Granada, we know that we have it, but I will keep this around here so I will not forget. And there you go. We went over everything we need to do. And we are 21 minutes in already with only talking. It's crazy, I know. So what are we going to do now? Well, first, let's stop this army by right-clicking again on Toledo. We're going to build 8 more troops. Now, there is a DLC where you can add troops to existing armies. Then there will be a plus button here. This DLC I of course have not enabled. So I cannot build troops in this army screen, which is a bit annoying. So if I want to build troops, I can do it 2 ways. I can click on the province and click Recruit Regiment button. And recruit some troops. Now they cost 10 each and 1000 manpower. So we will use all our manpower to build our troops. And we also don't have the money. So what we need to do really is let the game run. Maybe on speed 2 for now. So I'm going to press the plus button on my keyboard. And go to speed 2. Or the plus button over here. And I'm going to unpause the game. So we are now letting the game run. You can see that the speed 2 is going this quick. And remember, every day something happens. And when you press spacebar, you are at pause again. So you really want your left hand on your spacebar. That's really, really helpful. There's a last thing I want to do. When I right click on my nation, I can see that I have 1 out of 4 relation slots. So we can actually get 3 more relations before we get any penalties. And in the last episode, or in the first episode, we rivaled France. It would be really nice if I right click on France to find friends against France. And we also already noticed that we can get maybe an alliance with Aragon, the nation next to me. So we can defend against France together. So let's right click on Aragon. And you can see that they like us. So when I go to the alliance tab here, I will get an alliance with Aragon. They will accept very likely. Well, they will accept. There is no chance they will not accept. And I will click confirm. And there we go. We now have an alliance with Aragon as well. This is really nice because we are hoping for the personal union event to happen anyway, so we don't have to attack him. There you go. And now we can see his armies as well. He is having 19,000 armies, I think. That's really nice. What you also want to do before you unpause normally is your light fleet. You want to select a mission and protect trade. Now with a lot of DLCs, these buttons are, these places are all filled with buttons with privateering and all other kinds of missions over here. But with no DLCs, you can only protect trade. So click on protect trade. Then the trade map opens by itself. And remember, at the start of the game, when you don't know anything about trade, protect in your home node. Sevilla is our home node because our capital, you can see it by your crown, is in Toledo. And that province is in the Sevilla trade node. So you want to send your light fleet to protect trade in Sevilla. These numbers here are wrong. They are just wrong. We will get more trade money when we do this. So I'm gonna send them over there. And now you will see that they will go over here when I unpause the game. And there you go. Our light fleet is now protecting trade and gives us a little bit more trade income out of this node. Now this is our other fleet. We have 3 heavy ships and 10 transports. And with another DLC you can mothball this fleet, so you don't pay for the rest of your fleets except for your light fleets. I don't know which DLC this is, but it is very, very, very handy. And I would really recommend that one. But I will go over the DLCs after the tutorial. So you should really look for that one, or wait until I give you that one in the video. But there we go. Yeah, let's pause the game. Now we will almost get to the 1st of December. Did you hear that that sound of the coins? That means that we get our income. And everything is now updated. And you can see, just click this away by the way, you get humiliate rival CBs against your rivals. And we are not going to use that one. We now have, we make 9 ducats a month. We make almost 10 ducats for taxation, 4.3 for production income, 5.7 from trade, and we make 2 gold. Okay, good to know. I'm gonna improve relations with some nations because you want to use your diplomats when you play the game for the first time. So I'm gonna right click on the Pope and I will go to the Relations Actions tab here and I will improve relations with them. This has a couple of benefits which I will show you in the next episode. This is the Papal State and we get more Papal influence, and with the Papal influence you can do certain things, but we will discuss that later. So, as a Catholic nation, just improve with the Pope. You don't want this to be negative because you can get excommunicated and you get penalties. That's a good way to put your diplomat away. Now, on Iberia, you see all these nations, right? Aragon, Granada, Portugal, us. But there's also a nation over here in Navarra, which is a very small nation. Now, we can do a couple of things. We can conquer it, which is a very good idea, because otherwise maybe someone else gets it. But the thing is, we want to get our manpower up for our mission, so we can go to war with the Sunnis, the Islam, Granada, and convert it to Catholic. So we don't want to spend our manpower on this war, not even 100 manpower, because it will take longer than we need to get our missions completed. And there's another way you can conquer land in this game, and that is by diplo-vassalizing countries. So when you go and right-click on Navarra, you open the diplomacy screen again. We can get an alliance with this nation. We can improve relations over here in the Relations tab. But when you go to the Influence tab here, you can offer vassalization. They would love to be our vassal. So we don't have to go to war, we can offer them vassalization and integrate him later. So what we should do is just get those things that we need to do. That's listed over here. We would have a military alliance, have a relation of at least 190, and they need to be at peace. Now currently we have a relation of 39. So this number needs to go to 190. So let's improve relations with him. Just like I did with the Papal State. And then every month we get extra points. And when you send a diplomat, we now have 1 left of our 3 by the way, you can see it over here and in the outliner. It takes a while before you can do a new thing. We want to get an alliance as well, because you get an extra opinion boost. Maybe we will marry them off to ourselves and get another opinion boost. So, when we can do a new action, when can we offer the alliance? On the 2nd of January, so it takes around a month for our diplomat to arrive, and then you can send another diplomat and do another action. We will go over this next month. So let's let the game run a bit, let's make a bit more money. This is also part of the game, let the game run. It's one of the things you need to do in this game. Sometimes you can sit 5 years without doing anything because you're waiting for your manpower to get back, or you're waiting for claims, or you're waiting for your mission to be completed, and that's totally fine. Sometimes you have to play and do nothing for a while and make money and get manpower. Now we get an offer from Aragon. They want to marry us, and we accept, because every marriage you get, your legitimacy goes up in the end. You get plus 10 a year, 0.1 actually, 0.1 a year. And we get also a higher chance of a new heir, and that is also very handy. So we will accept. Now you can see, no, you cannot see it. I think next month when the game updates, our legitimacy change will go up higher and quicker. So it's a couple of days left, and we are in the 1st of January 1445. Then we go over what we see now. And there you go. You can see that our legitimacy changed by +2 a year now, thanks to our number of royal marriages. Now, 100 is the maximum, so we don't gain anything right now, but when we lose some, we will gain it back quicker with the royal marriage. Now, we have a couple of pop-ups on the screen. First, this is an event, and these happens randomly. Now, let's read the event. The state is not the sole source of influence in our country. Over the last few decades, a charismatic champion of the nobility has successfully managed to increase the power of the leading families of the nobility over most of the institutions of our country. Contacts and privileges can be powerful things, especially combined with ambition. Now, we can only click on OK, but what will happen? Okay, so the nobility estate gets a bit more influence. Now, you don't know what that is at this point, but we will go over that maybe in the next episode. Then we have another event here that happened. Aragon has been excommunicated. Now, normally, when a nation is excommunicated, you want to go to war with them. Because you get a free casus belli to go to war and not lose stability. But Aragon is our ally, so we cannot declare war on him. And the Pope did this because Aragon had a negative opinion of the Papal States. And that's why we are improving with the Pope, so that the Pope will not excommunicate us. Now, when someone is getting excommunicated, like Aragon, right-click on Aragon, and you can see it by the leader name being shown in red. So they are excommunicated. Now, if you want to go to war, you will get this pop-up here. You cannot declare war because you have an alliance. We can dissolve the alliance and then go to war. But when you dissolve an alliance, you get a truce timer of, I think, 5 years. So then we need to wait 5 years before we can declare war. And within 5 years, they can be not excommunicated anymore, and then we have a problem. So we are not going to do anything with the excommunication. Alright, we are in 1445 on the 1st of January. I think we're going to end the episode here. There's a lot of talking again, but we played a little bit. And in the next episode, we are going to play a bit more, and we will go over, I think, over the papacy tab, because I'm improving with the Pope. You can see that over here. And I will tell you why in the next episode. Don't forget to like the video. And I hope to see you in part 4, I think. Yeah, 4. Bye-bye, guys.